have talked previously on this channel about how much I hate wasted potential, particularly in movies. But I usually don't have to talk about wasted potential on account of the acting.
That's it. That's my intro.
Hi, I'm Amanda, you're watching Swell Entertainment, and today I am reviewing Primal Rage, which I watched on Amazon Prime. I have talked about Bigfoot documentaries twice so far on this channel, I believe. And the other day, I was really into like a slasher movie mood. So I was watching House of Wax, I watched The Collector, there was another one I watched that I totally forgot about. He's Out There, I think that was it. That was one of them. It was one of those movies where I was like, not horrible, but it could have been better, you know? One of those movies. But then after I watched The Collector, I was recommended Primal Rage. And it looked like, from the poster, I thought it was a werewolf movie. And I was like, you know what? I haven't watched a werewolf horror movie in a while. Let's see. But no, Primal Rage is not a werewolf horror movie. Let me read you the official synopsis. Primal Rage, The Legend of Conga. And it says, a newly reunited young couple's drive through the Pacific Northwest turns into a nightmare as they are forced to face nature, unsavory locals, and a monstrous creature known to the Native Americans as Oma. Warning going into this, I am choosing to refer to this monster as Bigfoot. Throughout the movie, they kind of go back and forth into how they're describing this creature. And I don't know if it would be more culturally insensitive for me to refer to this creature as the Oma. I have no idea. So the Oma is described, and this took me a couple searches, so hang on. So Bigfoot creatures in various tribes. The Bigfoot figure is common in the folklore of most Northwest Native American tribes. Oma on here is the Hoopa Indian Bigfoot. And in the movie, they say that the sheriff who is part of or is kind of outsider in the tribe, but he is a part of the tribe or once was, and he just has like some reservations about it. He says that again, I can't blame it all on the acting. Some of the dialogue was written horribly in this. Like, we'll talk more about this because overall, I really wanted to like this movie. It's a good movie. It just falls totally flat on the acting front to the point that it was like annoying. The creature is routinely referred to as Bigfoot. The locals refer to it as Bigfoot. But then once like the big reveal happens, like, oh, it's an Oma and like it's related to the Sasquatch Bigfoot. That's how you got Bigfoot, like that type of thing. It's a little all over the place. So I'm gonna stick with Bigfoot just because I don't know if I'm using Oma correctly and I don't want to be culturally insensitive by accident. That's like literally one of my greatest fears. So sticking with Bigfoot. Content warning, gory as hell. I'm not gonna show any of the gore in this video when I use the B-roll because, oh my God, it's a lot. It's fairly realistic. Like there's one part where Bigfoot like just pulverizes this guy's face in his hands. And if you told me that this dude is now dead, I would believe you. Like the practical effects, incredible, like genuinely impressed. And again, beautifully shot. A couple of editing mistakes that I was like, this could have been tighter, whatever, but like for the most part, movie beautifully shot. Also, content warning, there's an assault that happens. Yeah, a woman is assaulted by the Bigfoot. She's tied up. You don't see everything, but you know what's happening. Keep that in mind. It's not good. Let's talk about this movie. So it starts out with our main character, and I'm only going to remember the main characters of the couple because they barely said the other characters' names, and then I'm going to refer to the sheriff as the sheriff because I'm 90% certain that's how he was referred to the entirety of the movie. So, sheriff, and then Ashley and Max. Ashley is picking up Max from prison. He's been in jail for a year and a month and 9 days, but who's counting? She apparently was with him when he like went away or whatever, but like they have a son, they've been married for a couple of years. They were both like train wrecks essentially, okay? But okay. Overall, the best actors in this movie by far are the woman playing Ashley and the guy who's playing the lead hunter that we'll talk about in the hunting party. Hands down, I probably have the least complaint about their acting. Ashley gave me a couple of issues. Like there was a couple times where I was like cringing when she talked, but it was mostly her dialogue and me being like, oh my God, stop. Max, I'm sorry. You're super hot, dude. You're very attractive, but oh my God, I need you to pretend to believe what you're saying just a little bit. It was like painful for him. Like trying to watch this dude emote was painful. I'll put in a couple of examples, but oh my God.
Ashley.
Pretty awkward right away, you know, as it might be, you know, they barely say hello to each other. She's driving, they go and get gas. They pull over at one point after arguing, and they're like going back and forth about how different they are now. And then they start making out and they start having sex, and he like blows his load like immediately, which, like, side note, he's been in jail for a year. I think he gets a pass for like coming quickly. First time with your wife in a little bit, I think you get a pass. It's like, no, it's okay. And he's like, no, it sucked, like whatever. But they start driving again, they go and get gas. He goes inside, and then, so something that kept happening with some of these characters is that clearly what I think happened behind the scenes is someone said action, and then there was, do you know what happened yet? Like, there's clearly nothing that was said in character beforehand. Like, there was no, like, what's going on in your head? Like, there's no internal monologue. There's nothing going on. It's just, okay, I have my line. I'm saying my line now. Here's my next line. Like, it's kind of that. We first meet the sheriff in this gas station, and he is showing, this is a missing person. Have you seen it? To the shop clerk. And the shop clerk just goes immediately, Bigfoot got him. Bigfoot got him. He's acting up lately. Bigfoot got him. He's like, it's not Bigfoot, whatever. But like, it's just kind of like, this is a missing person. Have you seen him? As he's holding up a flyer that says missing person. Again, half of this is dialogue. Half of this is the right. I always find it interesting whenever I talk about movies and I critique one element. People are always like, okay, but what about the director? Sure, but this director wrote the thing too, so I can complain about one and the same. There we go. As Ashley is getting gas in the car, there's this hunting party that we see later. Spoiler alert, they all get brutally destroyed and murdered by this Bigfoot. But they're like kind of leering at Ashley, making little kissy sounds, swinging their hips around, being dickheads, okay? That's what's happening. And she's just like ignoring them. And then Max comes out and it's like, ooh, we got a convict. Like, can tell right away that he just got out, because apparently a bunch of cons come through that area. And I believe, if I remember correctly, that the other missing person, who we end up seeing at a certain point, was also an ex-convict and had just gotten out. And apparently the exit, like, they get dropped off in this town, this exit area. Whatever, there's some back and forth about being an ex-con. Also, Max is like very proud of the fact that he learned how to make a shiv. He talks about it repeatedly.
Turns out prison has arts and crafts time.
And then ends up making a shiv at the end, and that's how he like saves himself, but he ends up getting killed anyway. So, spoiler alert, Max is gonna die. I wanted to like this movie. The plot itself, not bad. Special effects, cinematography, all very well done. The acting is where, like, I could even overlook some of the writing issues, but the acting is where I was like, what's going on? What is happening? Was this one take? Did you get the script today? Like, what's going on? I don't know. So Ashley and Max are driving. They're arguing back and forth because Max opens up a beer in the car and she's pissed because, great, you've already got me on a misdemeanor. You've already got me on an open container. And they're going back and forth. And Max like just pauses, and again, there's no emotion. There's no emotion. It's the most, this dude frustrates me so much throughout this movie. They go back and forth and he's like, I'm scared. I am scared about you and me. I'm scared about coming back. I'm scared about our son.
Right now in this moment, I'm scared.
Okay, bro, can you like show some type of emotion, please? Please. Can you like saying things like, yeah, I get it, but like whatever. Anyway, they hit the dude. They hit a dude with the car. He's bloody. He's like mostly naked. He gets like obliterated by the car, and they're like, oh my God, what was that? Pull over. They walk over to this man who is just totally shredded. Like half of his face is gone. His legs are broken at both angles. He is destroyed, okay? Like physically destroyed. They're like, there's no way the car did all that. And like, arguably, I agree. There's no way the car did that type of damage. Like, I would assume that too. However, they're like, they don't try and help him whatsoever. And then he like, and they both jump. But Max, like, it's like a delayed jump. It's kind of funny. Ashley is immediately like, my phone. And she goes and runs. And then Max goes, wait,
Ashley.
I apologize to this actor in advance. I'm just going to be bagging on you half this video. Good luck. It's too easy. So she goes to call, and he immediately is like, don't do this. I smell like beer, because he spilled the beer all over himself, which whose fault is that, bro? That's on you. I just got out. Recently released, party of one. Like, he's trying to like convince her to not call for help for this man. And he's like, come on, think about us. Think about our son. Like, think about us. But he is not doing anything to imply that this is something that he genuinely wants. He's just like, think about us. Do this for us.
Don't do this to me. Think about us. Ashley, please.
hey, your life is on the line. You just got out of jail for a year. Like, can I get a little bit more of like you gotta, come on, think about us. You know, like a little bit more urgency, dude, Max, come on, like a little bit more urgency. Ashley calls anyway, and she's like, hi, I'm off this highway, whatever. And then as she's talking on the phone, Max is just like looking around, not really sure what to do. And something starts throwing rocks at them from the tree line. And Max is like, whoa, and ducks, different animal, and pulls Ashley down. And then this idiot, everyone in this movie has the spatial awareness of a goddamn artichoke, okay? Because, oh my God, that's another thing. That's the other main complaint. Once we get to the hunters, it's way more apparent. None of these men should have guns. They're all a bunch of idiots. He peeks his head up, and a rock beams him right in the face. He tumbles downwards. Ashley drops her phone, okay, and tumbles after him. Max is unconscious, falls in the water. Ashley is like, crap, jumps in the water after him. Personally, I think the water scene, the river scene of like them getting pushed around, drawn out way too long. It didn't build the suspense that I think they wanted it to build. It really just kind of got tedious where I'm like, are they still in the water? Are they still in the water? Oh, she's crying. She's still not awake? Okay. Like it could have been just shorter. They kept kind of going back and forth between like rushing water, her face, aerial view of the lake or the river, whatever. Like, and then finally she gets him on the dry land and she's like, wake up, wake up. She's trying to like push on his chest and then smacks him a couple of times like she's giving up. And then he spits up the water and he's shaking. He's going into shock. Long story short, they have to make a fire. They get naked because their clothes are wet. You don't see any titties, I don't think. You see a side boob. So they hang up all their clothes to get dry and they're by the fire, whatever. And she's like, there's easier ways to get my clothes off. And he's like, not with you, blah, 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 blah. Back to the sheriff. He's talking with his partner, talking about the missing person. They got the 911 call from Ashley's phone, so they go out to go check it out. He finds the car. The body is gone, though, by the way. The dead body of the dead dude, yeah, Bigfoot took it or something took it. It's Bigfoot, but like, oh, also, Bigfoot also shoved their car into off the road, like shoved it in, which like technically the road is already like through his territory. This is my whole thing with Bigfoot movies in general. Like I assume that if I am being hunted by Bigfoot, hiding, not gonna fucking work. This thing knows the woods better than me. I assume my best bet is to try to get as close to civilization as possible. Just keep moving. Don't stop. Don't hide. Go. Is it gonna outrun me? Probably. This one would kill me. However, I just think that like their habitat, they know more than me, regardless of how much survival experience I have. I'm gonna lose. I get wanting to hide that like the missing person's vehicle, but like I don't get pushing it into their territory, like pushing it into the ravine area. That's just me, but whatever. I'm not Bigfoot. I can't tell their state of mind. Ashley wakes up and her clothes are gone. Her shoes are there, but her clothes are gone. So she's literally in her underwear, nothing else. Max had apparently wandered off and gotten dressed and doesn't question why Ashley's clothes are gone.
What's wrong?
Where are my clothes?
Aren't they where you left them?
I left them right here. I didn't touch them.
Well, they have to be here somewhere.
What is this?
Well, there are your shoes.
Like whatsoever, does not question. He just gives her his tank top. So she's wearing it like a dress. So they start trying to get back to the road and find their way back. And they start hearing the hunting party. They're hunting buddies from the gas station. Max is like, okay, you're gonna stay here just in case. Smart. And he decides that he's gonna swagger up like an Abercrombie model to this group of hunters to ask to use their phones.
Look, guys, there's an accident on the road. Does anybody have a cell phone?
And of course, they don't have phones. Oh, also what I did like about this movie is that repeatedly what they did is they would show that as they were going through like the wide shots of the forest, they would show in the background movement and you could see Bigfoot watching them, which was cool. Also, side note, this Bigfoot is the mecca of Bigfoot. Like, I don't know how else to describe. Mecca's not the word. This thing is cool as hell, okay? This Bigfoot is super cool. It's like a warrior. It's got a mask. It wears like bark armor. Like this thing is decked out. Like this thing made armor. It uses bow and arrows. This is the predator of Bigfoot. This thing would kill me. But basically, as Max is talking to the hunting party and they're being a bunch of pricks.
What happened to that pretty little thing you were with?
Oh, yeah. My wife. Oh, whatever.
My wife?
She's around.
Round where?
She's around.
I'm sorry. Max is less defensive over Ashley than Jim is of Pam, okay, from The Office. Like this, like Jim does more, okay, because he may only look into the camera and make a dumb face, okay, when Pam is being like insulted, but at least he did something. Max is just like brooding. I would have rather preferred him to be a macho man in this moment than the apathy that he displayed, because what happens is Ashley's watching from a distance and she's keeping her distance, but Bigfoot is behind her. And I don't understand this motivation for Bigfoot. Bigfoot likes Ashley. It wants a lady, okay? That's what it wants. But what it does is it just very quietly snips a chunk of her hair. She doesn't even feel it really. She knows something's behind her, so she turns. Bigfoot's gone. Unless I missed what it did with her hair, I think it just wanted her hair. It didn't need it to track her scent. It already knew, like, it had been following her. And as far as I can tell, it's never gone far. So I don't get the hair thing. I think it was just like, that type of shit. She freaks out because she thinks something's there. So she runs up to Max, and again, she's not wearing pants. So they're like all being dickheads, like, oh, my pants are tight, being shitheads. Long story short, we have a radio. The radio doesn't work. Let's get back to the trucks because we have another radio or whatever. They give Max one of their spare shirts, and they don't have pants to give Ashley, but the main hunting dude does give her his jacket or whatever. And again, Max lets too much shit be said to Ashley. She's like the backbone of this relationship. God, tell me that you care about your wife not being leered at by these dudes, something. They just routinely stop and start. They keep being dicks to Ashley and Max, being like, oh, you're a convict. Oh, excuse me for being protective of my wife.
And that's how you are, that pretty little wife of yours.
She's my wife.
Still rude.
Excuse me for trying to protect my wife. Besides, I don't think she's your type.
It's incredibly dumb. But at one point, Ashley is like, where the hell are we going? We appreciate that your radio doesn't work. And one of the other guys is like, what are you talking about? The radio works. And the leader is like, well, it doesn't transmit. And the other guy is like, no, it does. I used it a little while ago. And they're like, no. And he's like, oh, shit. Okay, I gotta go pee. And so he runs off, so does another dude. The leader sends off another guy. So 3 dudes are gone, okay? There's like 4 hunters with Max and Ashley. 2 of the dudes, the one who went to go pee is peeing, okay? The other one gets shot by an arrow by Bigfoot, like through the neck. The guy who was peeing just walks towards the guy with an arrow in his neck and is like, dude, are you okay? He says his name. I don't remember what it was. But he's like, are you okay? Hey, what's going on? There's an arrow in his neck, you dumbass. Like, are you kidding me? So this dude just keeps standing there as his friend falls. And again, spatial awareness of a goddamn artichoke, but not even that. Just no common sense. Hey, my friend got shot with an arrow. Maybe I shouldn't be standing still in the open. Maybe that should be my next thought, is duck or move. But no, this dude just stands there and then perfectly still. So Bigfoot is like, through the neck, stuck into a tree. Bigfoot walks up. We get the first reveal of Bigfoot looking like a freaking badass. Coolest looking Bigfoot ever. I would be terrified of this Bigfoot. This Bigfoot would kill me, 100%. This thing comes up and just like smushes his face, like massages his skull apart. Fuck. So still looking for the other guys, but they're screaming. The main group of hunters, Max and Ashley, hear them and they're like, oh, must be jerking each other off, whatever, being dicks. She's like, what the hell are we going? So the radio works. Great. Let us use it. We won't tell them you're here. And apparently the reason they're being dicks to them and not letting them use the radio is because they are on a non-legal hunting trip, which is dumb because they were gearing up for a hunting party at the gas station and the sheriff was literally right there, which Ashley says. And it's like, well, we hadn't killed anything yet. We haven't killed anything now. Okay, I'm sorry. Let them go. Give them the benefit of the doubt. Don't tell them where your trucks are. Don't. Dumb. Anyway, yeah, so the other dude that was sent after the 2 dudes, Bigfoot takes his head off, just like whoop, with an axe. He falls first, that's right. Again, spatial awareness of a goddamn artichoke. Falls and just snaps his arm. Snaps it. Hides behind a tree and just stays there. Like stays there looking up at Bigfoot, which I know that freeze response is one thing, but I'm sorry, if you're gonna carry a gun, these people are idiots. This is why I'm for gun control, because these idiots were able to get guns in this fictional movie, and then also none of them know how to use their guns, it seems like, because one dude is just like, oh, it's so dumb. It's so dumb. Bigfoot just takes his head off because the dude is just like staring up at him, and then like head gets taken off. So more fighting, more back and forth. And then suddenly they make a joke. What was the joke? I don't know. They make a dumb joke about Max being a former convict or whatever, or something about Ashley's being a woman. I don't know. Something. There's a joke that was made that was so forgettable that I don't remember it. But one of the guys drops to his knees and is like gurgling. And the lead hunting guy is like, come on, dude, it wasn't that funny. And then he sees that there's blood on his shoe. That dude got an arrow through his neck as well. Boom. They all pick up their guns. Okay, they all have got their rifles. And one of them is a fucking idiot and just starts shooting randomly. Again, no one in this movie has any concept of logic. Because, like, I'm sorry. Dumb. Sometimes the Bigfoot is, like, ducking around, but he's not even aiming at the Bigfoot, it seems. Like, it's just like... Anyway, keep shooting in circles. At one point, Max is like, run, and tells Ashley to go and hide behind a tree or something. I don't fucking know. Just to get out of, like, the line of fire, which I would have just kept running. But that's just me. My husband wasn't coming with me. So, I mean, I guess I can understand her logic. She stays there, and then Bigfoot just runs through and, like, slashes the guy with the gun's throat because he runs out of ammo. And so he just, like, falls down next to the other guy because they've all hit the deck because this other one was swinging the gun around like an idiot and shooting at random things. He was gonna kill one of his buddies. Ashley is hiding, but she sees the Bigfoot sees her, so she runs and hides in a little corridor thing, like in the roots of a tree. Which, funniest part and the most realistic part, this Bigfoot finds her immediately and starts trying to grab at her. Can't. So what does it do? Gets on top, starts digging down. She runs out again, hides again, finds the guy in the glasses he's holding his breath. He's hiding. Bigfoot finds them immediately because, again, I'm sorry, hunters, I don't think I have hunters. I don't think I appeal to a hunter audience. I don't think so. So if any of my viewers are hunters, if you're hunting a bear, would you not assume that the bear knows the area better than you? Is that just me? Is that not common sense that the thing that you are going after knows the area better than you? Because they live there. Does that... No? Is that not common knowledge? Anyway, Bigfoot just like whoop, and kills this dude. And we get another cool, like, badass, like, Godzilla type of view moment. I don't know how else to describe that, but just like, look how cool I am for the Bigfoot, basically. Ashley runs. It grabs her, like, immediately, brings her back. And he's, like, gonna kill Max in front of her. And for a second, I thought, like, he's showing his face to Ashley, the Bigfoot is. He's got his foot, like, on Max. And is, like, showing his face, like, look at him. And I thought, oh shit, it knows that Max and her are, like, together because he saw it's been tracking them this whole time. So is he gonna cut off Max's face so that she'll like him more? That's fucked up. But that's fucking great if he did that. Bad, dark, yeah, but also, like, I don't know what this Bigfoot is thinking. That's what I thought was happening. Because it had, like, the knife in, like, a weird position. I'm like, oh my God, he's going to cut off the face or the head to be like, look, I can be what you want. Like, that's what I thought this was going to be. But no, apparently it was like a pride thing. That's what we hear later, is that it got prideful. That's why I didn't kill you. That's what the sheriff says to Max later. Like, it got too prideful, but I think it was just like, I don't know. Anyway, the Bigfoot doesn't kill Max, but he's gonna, like, crush his chest. But then the hunter guy, the leader, he has his gun still, his rifle. So he shoots Bigfoot in the shoulder and then doesn't shoot again. He just tries to run, gets knocked out. Bigfoot grabs him, Bigfoot grabs Ashley. Leaves Max. Max, later, is picked up by the witch. She doesn't say a word this entire film. She is the baddest bitch. Not only does she not say a word, but she looks cool as hell, okay? She's the type of person that, you know, if you sit in a room with her, like, you may die, like, the risk of you dying goes up, but you'd learn something just being in her presence. Does that make sense? That type of person. That's who this witch is. But she takes him back to her little cabin and, like, heals him. For some reason. Not really sure why. We go into a cave. Ashley is tied up. The hunter dude is tied up. A bunch of the bodies of the other guys are now in the cave as well. Ashley tries to break free. She cannot. Other big hunter guy wakes up and then is immediately killed by Bigfoot. Ashley keeps trying to break free. Can't. The assault happens. He, like, rips her shirt. It's not good. It's bad. I'm warning you, it's there. Just be aware of the cave scene. It only happens once. And then after that, Max is still being healed. Cut back to Ashley. The Bigfoot is, like, cutting up the bodies and is just giving her little bits of meat, and she like, it's human meat. She's eating the people. She's eating people now. But she grabs, I think, one of their rib bones or something, but she starts trying to sharpen it, literally in plain view of Bigfoot, which why this thing wouldn't pick up on that, I don't know. But I guess they're trying to say that this thing is like Rambo for big feet, but Bigfoot. Just an incredible fighter, but then also doesn't understand that like, oh yes, my new bride is making a weapon. Like, what did it think she was doing? Wiping her face on the boulder? Like, I don't know. What she does is she like claws at it. She has the sharpened bit in her mouth and like scratches at its face, so it lets her go. What happens is Max wakes up, the sheriff is there. The sheriff had like a whole like drug-induced seance thing, quite literally, had a vision and knew what he had to do. He knew this was the Oma. He knew this was this. So he goes to the witch and Max is there. Max is now awake and he's just like sharpening his tools and telling Max everything. And Max is way too casual about the fact that Bigfoot has killed everyone and has his wife.
Where's Ashley?
Not, where the fuck is my wife? I need to know that you actually care about this woman, because I would believe that you met her in gym class and that was the last time you saw her, because oh my god, you do not care about this woman. So it's like, oh, the witch says that the Oma is weak, like the Bigfoot has been shot in the arm, so no arrows, so we have a chance to take it down. They gear up. Oh yeah, he makes a shiv and like shoves it in his pocket. Max does, of course. As they're setting out, they like cover themselves in something so that the Bigfoot can't smell them. The witch starts beating on a drum and like giggling at them. Like cackling. Cackling is the word. That's what's happening. Beating on a drum as they're walking away. And they just like still walk on, which like, I'm sorry. Bigfoot hears this. Like, it's like a warning to Bigfoot. Doesn't seem smart to me, but like whatever. And then Ashley is like, yeah, that whatever that is, they're coming for you, asshole. Like to Bigfoot. And Bigfoot leaves her there. So she uses the sharp bit because she still has it, because Bigfoot didn't take it from her because this thing is an idiot apparently. And starts like clawing at the things tying her. Takes what she can. She takes pants from one of the other dead dudes. Takes a shirt from one of the dead dudes because hers is all shredded. Takes a gun, takes another gun, has 2 guns now, and sets off to go and hunt Bigfoot. Bigfoot and the sheriff and Max, they're fighting. Bigfoot starts clawing at Sheriff's neck. Bigfoot kills Sheriff, but Sheriff gets a few good hits in. Max and Ashley see each other from a distance. They wave at each other, but Ashley is still gonna go kill Bigfoot. God, which bit happens next? This fight sequence is a little all over the place. My main complaint with the fight sequence is that Max has been dunked in a river, frozen, beaten into the ground by Bigfoot, repeatedly knocked around, nursed back to health by a witch. But I assume he was sweating in that time, you know? He was sweating and gross, okay? But no. This whole time, his hair is still clean and fluffy as ever. He still looks like he's on the cover of Abercrombie. And that, I don't like that. I'm annoyed. Ashley looks like she's been in a cave. She looks like she's been in the river. She looks like she's been in the dirt. But no, Max's hair is fluffy and blown dry. It's not until like his very final scene that they finally let his hair get dirty. It's so dumb. That's why I was mostly annoyed the entirety of this. I was like, I hope he gets murdered, okay? Oh yeah, when Bigfoot left Ashley in the cave to go deal with the drumming, he took some traps that he had with him and set them up. So Max falls in one, and I'm not sure if that's before or after he tells Ashley to run. I want to say after, but I don't know. Max has like this vision of like Ashley and their son, and is like, you have to go. You have to go. You have to live, and I'll be okay. And you have to go so that our son can like have a mother still, basically, so that it doesn't lose 2 parents, whatever. So she's like, no, I'm not gonna leave you. And he's like, go. So she starts running, which again, they all should have done that in the first place, but that's just me. Max starts fighting Bigfoot, somehow gets the jump on Bigfoot. Again, Bigfoot's like this close to killing him repeatedly. But then finally, he's like pushed up against a log or in the dirt. Then he pulls the shiv out. Like, he should have pulled it out sooner, but whatever. But he gets the shiv, starts beating Bigfoot, takes the axe, starts beating Bigfoot. Finally, gets Bigfoot in the face, kills Bigfoot. Finally, he's covered in mud. Finally, hair's dirty, face is dirty, whatever. He finally leans back and rests. I would have gotten the fuck out of there. I know you've been in a bear trap. Still, Max, I would have gotten the hell out of there, because immediately he is shot by a couple of arrows. Because, of course, this Bigfoot is not the only one in the forest. Which my only thought is, where the fuck were these guys? 3 more come out. Max dies. End of the movie. Oh, Ashley made it to the road, by the way. I wanted to like it. Okay. Special effects, incredible, okay? I love the practical effects, incredible. Hands down, probably one of the best Bigfoot renditions I've seen. Also kept doing this cool thing, because it's like part monkey when it wasn't wearing the mask, was when it would scream at people, its lip would flip up, kind of like, is it baboons that do that? or like I do it, I guess, like exposing the gums. It's terrifying. If something was screaming in my face like that, I'd just die on the spot. I would just have a heart attack at 23. That's what would happen. That was a cool effect. I just like the practical effects. Shot beautifully. The story, not horrible. Could have used some work, yes, but I 90% chalk that up to the acting. The acting drove me goddamn nuts most of the time. Bigfoot was the best actor, and he didn't say a goddamn word. Same with The Witch, best actor, didn't say a goddamn word. Honorable mention is the woman whose child is missing, who walks up to the sheriff. Sheriff, have you heard anything yet? What are you gonna do about it?
You know something you're not telling us!
Best actor. Incredible. Spectacular. Anyway, that's gonna be it. Recommend other Bigfoot movies for me to watch, because apparently I'm going through a bunch of them now. Do you believe in Bigfoot? Do you think Bigfoot is in the Pacific Northwest? Do you also think that idiots should not be allowed to get guns? Let me know. Comment down below. Shout out to my patrons. Thank you so much for supporting me on Patreon. If you'd also like to support me on Patreon, they'll be listed down below. If you'd like to follow me on my social media, that'll be all up here. And that's gonna be it. Have a lovely day. Goodbye. No, but seriously, is that not like a common thing? Like, I assume that if I am in the forest, the animals that live there, the creatures that live there, have a better understanding of it than I do. So my plan would be to get out of Dodge if one of them decided I am their new target. Is that not a common thing? Thank you, Ali, Alan, Alex, Braden, Cameron, Christopher, Chris, Cody, Colton, Crash PC, Destiny, Devin, Dirty One, Don, Elliot, Evan, Feckless, Hopeless, Holla, Jucker, Ray, Joe, John, M, Jordan, Joseph, Kenny, Kevin, Kim, Kristen, Lex, Lisa, Louise, Manga, Matt, O, Matthew S, Meme Lord the Red, Michael J, Nathaniel, Pat, Penn, Prylock, Rob, Robert, Ross, Sam, Simon, Stephen, Tasha, Timothy, Tom, Wendy, Williams, Andre.